Debbie Marcoux is licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act, NMLS ID 237926. Also licensed in Arizona 0941504, Florida L076508, Georgia 69178, Idaho MLO 208023796, Illinois 031.0058339, Missouri, North Carolina I210940, Nevada 57237, Oregon, Tennessee 184373, Texas, Washington MLO 237926.
She's a mortgage mom. She can get things done when you're in need and don't know where to go. Pick up the phone and call mom.
All right, so welcome to Mortgage Mom Radio. I am Debbie Marcoux. I am the Mortgage Mom, and I believe we actually did it. I think we are live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, which is super awesome. So excited to make this happen. If there are any hiccups whatsoever, since this is our first time making it work correctly, or hopefully correctly, on Instagram, please leave a message, put it into the chat, and let us know if you can't hear me or something isn't working right. So please do that. I do want to let everybody know that this is Mortgage Mom Radio. So once a week at 1 p.m. Pacific time on Wednesday, I do go live and I bring you a topic for the week. So something that is real estate and mortgage related, and we are keeping you up to date in all things real estate and mortgage. So this is an interactive show. I do want you to put all of your questions into the feed or into the chat. I do read those out loud and I answer them for you. So this is all about you and bringing you the information and the content that you're looking for about real estate and mortgage. What is going on? We pick a new topic every single week. So we've talked about the Fed, we've talked about inflation, we've talked about interest rates, refinancing, purchasing. We have done it all, and I continue to bring you updated and new topics every single week. So this week we're going to actually be talking questions and answers. That's what I want to do today. I recently, last Wednesday, did a home buyer workshop, and it was fabulous. We had about 30 people that joined. I did it on YouTube, and I got a lot of questions throughout that 2.5 hours. Took everybody from start to finish through the process, so it was really great for anybody who is a first-time buyer or somebody that is maybe looking to buy again, hasn't done it in maybe 4 or 5 years, so they needed a refresher course. So it was really awesome to do that and to see all of the questions that did come in through that feed. So today I'm going to actually read to you some of those questions, because when I get questions from people, that means that is what you, the listener, is wondering. Those are the questions that you have. And I'm trying to deliver information and content to you that you are looking for. So I'm going to actually read those questions today that came in during that workshop. And then I'm going to give you the answers to those questions. Again, this is interactive. I want to make sure that if you have questions, that you get your questions answered as well. So please feel free to put that into the chat for me. Now, I also want you guys to tell me hi, let me know that you're here and that you're on and that you're listening. So that would be fabulous if you could do that as well. So we are going to jump in and we are going to get these questions started. But first, I do want to let you all know that if you want to know when I go live every week, you don't have to try to remember, oh, it's Wednesday at 1 o'clock. Then all you need to do is text the word live, LIVE, to 844-935-3634. That's 844 We Lend for You. WELEND and the number 4. Text the word live. That will get you opted in, and you will receive one text message per week that just lets you know that we are live with the link to join. So that is the best way to never miss a show. We are going to jump into these questions, though. I'm going to start reading them for you, and I'm going to start answering them for you. But first, we're going to take a super quick break, and we'll be right back. This is Debbie Marcoux, the Mortgage Mom. Are you thinking about buying, refinancing, selling? Are you relocating to another state? Well, we are here to help you at Mortgage Mom Radio. Give us a call, go to our website, or send us a text message. The phone number is 844-935-3634. That's 844 We Lend for You. WELEND and the number 4. or head on over to that website at mortgagemomradio.com. Okay, so welcome back to Mortgage Mom Radio. I am Debbie Marcoux. I am the Mortgage Mom. So let's just go ahead and jump right into these questions. I want to make sure that you guys hear them and I get you those answers. And like I said, if you have questions of your own, please don't hesitate to put that into the feed. More than happy to read those out loud and answer them for you. So the first question that came in last Wednesday during our workshop was, how can someone strategize best to get an assumable mortgage? Is it worth it? So I thought that this was a great topic because there have been quite a few people that have been looking at homes where the sellers right now are putting into the comments that their properties are assumable, their loans are assumable. And many of those loans that are assumable are VA loans. So those are the most common loans that do have the ability to be assumable. There are also some of the FHA loans can be assumed, and then conventional loans can be assumed, but the majority of the time, a conventional loan that is assumable is an adjustable rate mortgage. A 30-year fixed standard conventional loan, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, is not an adjustable product. Is not an assumable product. However, if it is an adjustable, then it is assumable, and it has to be out of its fixed rate term. So, for example, if you have a conventional adjustable loan, many people sign up for a 5-year ARM, 7-year ARM, 10-year ARM. What that means is that for the first 5, 7, or 10 years, that interest rate is fixed before it becomes an adjustable. So that loan is not actually going to be assumable until it is in its adjustment phase, where it is moving up and down every single year. That is when those loans become adjustable. But let's just say that the seller that you're walking in and looking at their home has an assumable loan, and they are offering to allow you to assume that loan. Well, that is actually a fantastic way to get a mortgage right now in today's world, because their interest rate is most likely much lower than where we are today in today's interest rate environment. So if you did have the opportunity to assume somebody's loan and their interest rate is 3.5% or 4%, that's fabulous. You should absolutely do that. But the one thing to keep in mind is that a seller is not going to say, sure, take over my loan, I'm going to hand you the keys and we're going to walk away. They are still looking to sell their home. They are looking to get the proceeds and the equity out of their property. So you do need to be making sure that you're talking with your real estate agent and that you're getting all of the details of how much is that loan balance, what is the home, purchase, the price, and then how much do I need in cash to gap that bridge? So it was a great question that came in. I wanted to make sure that I shared it with everybody. I'm not seeing any questions come in right now at this point, but if I see questions, I'm going to read them and answer them out loud. So please get interactive with us. Happy to do that. All right, number 2, is it true that if you haven't purchased a home in 5+ years, that you are eligible for first-time homebuyer benefits? So it is actually 3 years. You cannot have owned property. So some people get a little bit confused by what that means. There's a lot of people that might be on someone's mortgage, but they're not on the title of the home. If they're not on the title of the home, they are not an owner of real property. So if that has happened for 3 years, whether you're on a mortgage or not, but you are not on the title of the home, then you are considered a first-time buyer after 3 years of having no real property ownership. Now, some people are on the title of the home with their parents. Their parents added them to the title of the property. That was their way of just making sure if something happened to them that the property was going to go to their child. And in that situation, you own real property. So whether you've gone out and bought your own home, got your own financing for that property, you've never done that, it doesn't matter. You're not considered a first-time buyer. So somebody who has had no ownership interest, have not been on the title of a home in 3 years on real property, is considered a first-time buyer. So I liked that question and I wanted to make sure I gave you guys the information. All right, number 3, here we go. I have an FHA loan. What are the requirements to purchase a second property as an investment? Any low minimum required down payment? So she currently owns her home, has an FHA loan on that home, and she's wondering how much money does she need for a down payment to go buy an investment property. In that situation, you're going to need a minimum of 20% down payment. You live in your home, you are going to stay in your home. You're not looking to go and upgrade into a bigger home that will then become your new primary residence. She is looking to start building a real estate portfolio and stay in the home that she's in. So in that situation, she would need to have at least 20% equity, 20% down payment to purchase an investment property. Now, I did give some ideas, and I would love to give you guys these ideas as well. The best thing that you can possibly do is to buy as small as possible right out the gates. So buy what you need, not what you believe your future holds. If you live in a 1-bedroom apartment today or a 2-bedroom apartment today, go buy a 1 or 2-bedroom condominium. Live in it for a year or 2 years. Save yourself the money for the next down payment. Now, low down payment, new primary residence purchase. Go buy yourself that townhome. Put down 5% or 3.5% on that new townhome. Rent the first one, that condo, rent it out. Now go and do it again. Another year or 2 later, you've saved up a little bit more money. Now go buy your 2-bedroom single family, and so forth. And that's how you build your real estate portfolio, with putting less money down, getting better interest rates, being in those primary purchase loans every time that you move forward. So I loved it. It was a great question, and I wanted to make sure I gave you guys the tips and tricks that I was giving them last week on the workshop. I can see that Claudia jumps in and she says, not on title of the home, not your home. No ownership and no name on title. Correct. So if you are not on the title of the home, even if you're on the loan, if you are not on the title of any property, real property, you are considered a first-time buyer as long as it's been at least 3 years. So if you owned a home and you sold it, and then you wait 3 years and then you go buy another, you are at that point 3 years later considered a first-time buyer. Obviously, if you've never owned anything, you're a first-time home buyer. Claudia jumped on and says, hello, beautiful. So thank you. I love that. That really makes me feel so good. I appreciate it. And Why Not jumped on and says, hello all, especially Debbie. Can you explain what Biden addressed about first-time home buyer loans in his address last Thursday? So that's actually a great question. I do like it. And I can tell you what I took of what he said. Obviously, there has been absolutely nothing that is final, put in writing. I don't even know if there's even been anything written up yet for a bill to be passed. So I can just give you what I took of what he was saying. So my understanding of it was that if you are a first-time buyer, they are trying to give you incentive, especially if you don't own a home, or even if you do own a home, they are trying to give people incentive to sell the home and go buy a larger home. So they're trying to get people moving. And with that, what he is saying is that he wants to propose that they give you a tax incentive for purchasing a property. They're, again, trying to get people to move. They're trying to get the market, get a little bit more inventory out there, get more people doing transactions. And so they're going to give tax incentives if you do that. This is what he was saying is what he would like to do, or his goal of what he would like to do. So that tax incentive, when you take that write-off, when you file your taxes, is supposed to be equivalent to about $400 a month in savings for you. Now, I don't really know how that number could be thrown out there, because every single person has a different tax bracket. Everybody makes different income. Everybody's write-offs and expenses are different. So I'm not exactly sure how they could come to that number. I think it really should have been stated there's going to be this dollar amount that is going to be provided to you in a tax credit, kind of like when you buy solar panels and you put them on your home, or you lease solar panels and you get that tax incentive at the end of the year when you file. It should have really been, in my belief, it should have been explained in that way. But that is what I took of it. And again, there is nothing that has actually been written yet, so I can't tell you that my understanding is the correct understanding. but that is what I took of it. And I love the question, you guys. I want you to keep them coming. I want you to keep asking questions because I want to deliver to you the information that you are looking for. So why not? Thank you so much for joining and asking your question. With that, we're going to take a super quick break. It's 60 seconds. We'll be right back. This is Debbie Marcoux, the Mortgage Mom. Are you thinking about buying, refinancing, selling? Are you relocating to another state? Well, we are here to help you at Mortgage Mom Radio. Give us a call, go to our website, or send us a text message. The phone number is 844-935-3634. That's 844 We Lend for You. WELEND and the number 4. Or head on over to that website at mortgagemomradio.com. Okay, so welcome back to Mortgage Mom Radio. I'm Debbie Marcoux. I am the Mortgage Mom, and I am bringing you guys information every week about all things real estate and mortgage. And so today we are actually going through questions that I have received. I received these most of these questions came up in the homebuyer workshop that we did last Wednesday. And again, I felt like they were such great questions that I did want to bring them back to all of you and let you hear them as well. Any question that somebody asks me is something that numerous people are probably have that same question and would love to know the answers. So I absolutely love it when you guys give me those questions because that means that I am delivering the answers to you, the listener, the consumer. I am giving you the information that you want to know. So please don't hesitate, just like Claudia, just like Why Not, throw those questions into the chat and let me know what they are. I will read them out loud and answer them for you. But in the meantime, I'm going to keep hitting on these questions that came out of the homebuyer workshop last week. They were phenomenal. They were fabulous. So the next question that I did get during that workshop was, what are the tax implications of selling a rental property to purchase a primary residence? So I did really like that question, and I wanted to make sure that I said it again today. I want all of you to know that I will never step out of place or answer a question that I shouldn't or that I can't. So in this situation, in this question, this is truly a question that I had to send the listener back to his CPA. So I believe it was Chad that asked me that question during the workshop, and I had to tell him, this question needs to be answered by your CPA. I am not a CPA. I do not do taxes for a living. I cannot tell you what your repercussions would be. What I do know and what I can explain is that the taxes that you will have to pay if you sell a rental property are based on how much you purchased the property for, how much improvement you put into the property that you can show receipts for, how much depreciation that you claimed over the years that you had that property, how much income was earned on that property during the time that it was a rental. So it is a simple math calculation. And it's not really simple, obviously, but it is a math calculation, and it is something that you would definitely have to discuss with your CPA. You want to get that answered by somebody who does your tax returns, has been doing your tax returns, knows what you've claimed, knows what you purchased it for, knows what deductions have been taken, and you want to make sure that that's the person that you're going to. So I, again, just want to make sure that you all know, if you ask me a question, I'm going to answer it to the very best of my ability. And if I can't answer it for you, I'm going to tell you who can. So keep them coming. Keep those questions coming. I love it. All right, next question. Is there a way of getting rid of PMI? Is there a way of removing the PMI on a current home? So I did like that question, and that is a really good one. So number one, an FHA loan. If you have an FHA loan and it is not a 15-year fixed rate mortgage, which most people that do an FHA loan are first-time buyers, they are trying to get in with as little down payment as possible with the 3.5%, and they're usually trying to stay within a budget, and they're going with a 30-year fixed. But in the rare case that you have an FHA loan with a 15-year fixed rate mortgage, the PMI insurance, or what they call an FHA MIP, which is mortgage insurance premium, could be removed after a specific amount of time. So I'm going to actually go towards conventional in this answer because those are really the loans where you have the opportunity to remove that mortgage insurance. And some people say, well, why would you want to keep the current loan that you have and not just do a refinance? So let's talk a little bit about that, and then we'll talk about removing that conventional mortgage insurance. So a conventional loan has mortgage insurance whether or not they say they do. So if you put down 20% on the property, you will not have mortgage insurance on the home. If you put down less than 20% on a property with a conventional loan, and we're talking Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, there is mortgage insurance. Now, there is a way to get rid of the mortgage insurance. You can finance the mortgage insurance into the interest rate. You can buy the mortgage insurance out completely so that that mortgage insurance is not part of that monthly payment. But if you have less than 20% down, there is mortgage insurance that is there. There is PMI. It is there, and you have to deal with it, whether it's in a monthly payment, it is in the interest rate, or you buy it out in cash. So, why would you want to keep a loan and just remove the mortgage insurance that is on that loan? Well, if you took that loan and you have an interest rate that is 3.5% or 4% or 4.5%, you obviously would not want to do a refinance today when interest rates are much higher than that. You would want to try to keep that low interest rate that you have. So it'd be great if you could just remove the mortgage insurance, keep your low interest rate, save that monthly, that money monthly, and move on with life. So that is a possibility, but there are things about that. So number one, in order to remove mortgage insurance from a conventional loan that has PMI insurance on it, you have to pay the balance down to 78% of where the appraised value was when you took that loan. So whether it was a refinance when you took it and you had mortgage insurance at that time, or it was a purchase that you did and you had mortgage insurance at that time, whatever that appraisal was at that time, you need to have 78% equity in that property from that appraised value to remove that mortgage insurance. Now, that does not mean because your property went up in value. And so that's where a lot of people get confused. They call the lender and, the servicing lender, the 800 number on their mortgage statement, and they say, I want to remove my mortgage insurance and my property's gone up in value. And even some of the servicers will say, well, we're going to order an appraisal. You order the appraisal, and then all of a sudden they come back to you and they say, well, show us all of the improvements that you've done for your property to have increased in value. So they're looking for you to have spent money, or they're looking for you to have paid down the balance. They are not just blankly looking for your property to have gone up in value. So just keep that in mind. You do have to make your payments, and you need to get that balance paid down so that you have 22% equity, or your balance is 78% of the value that it was when you took out that loan. So in today's market, with interest rates being higher than probably where most of you have an interest rate already, and most likely you haven't made the payments necessary to pay that balance down to that point, you will just stay with your mortgage insurance at this point in time. Now, when interest rates do drop in the future, if you still haven't paid that balance down all the way, but interest rates have come down to where they're equal to the rate that you have on your current mortgage, at that point in time, it would probably make more sense to do a refinance, a full-blown refinance to remove that mortgage insurance so that you don't have to wait any longer to pay that balance down any further before you could get the mortgage insurance removed. So I do hope that that kind of answered the question. And if you have more about that, please, like I said, throw it into the feed. Feel free. I'm more than happy to specify or get a little bit deeper into that subject. I can see Claudia says, I have some credit card debt and currently have a home equity loan. I want to pay off one, but not sure which route to go. My plan is to apply for another home equity loan for a higher amount. Do you recommend paying off the credit cards or the HELOC? So you can only have one home equity line of credit or one home equity loan at a time. I'm not going to say you can only. There are some lenders that might be willing to go into third position. The majority will not. You can usually only have your first mortgage and only have a second mortgage, a home equity line of credit or a home equity loan. So if you are thinking about paying off the home equity line that you said that you have, and then you want to reapply for a new home equity line or a new home equity loan, and you want it to be for a larger amount so that you get the cash that you need to pay off those credit card balances, you can absolutely do that. Really, which one that you pay off is based on which one makes the most amount of sense to pay off. So if you can get a brand new home equity line or home equity loan, that it is a much lower interest rate than what you are paying on those credit cards, which is usually the case, it would make more sense to pay off the home equity line in order to obtain a new home equity line or loan. Now, keep in mind that through a refinance, and I'm going to call it a second mortgage because I don't care if it's a home equity line and I don't care if it's a home equity loan. If it is in second position on the title of your property, which is what those two would be, it is considered a second mortgage. Okay, so we're just going to call it a second mortgage to keep it easy. You can do a refinance of a second mortgage, and in that refinance, they would pay off the existing loan that you have, what the balance that you owe on your current second, and they could get you out the additional cash that you need to pay off the credit card debt that you are talking about. Now, if you have the cash in hand, should I pay off the equity line or should I pay off the credit cards? If you have the cash in hand, that you could do one or the other, then you're going to pay off the one that's got the higher interest rate, the one that's costing you more money. You're going to keep the line of credit you have in place and you're going to pay off the credit card debt. You're not going to extend that equity line or equity loan. You're not going to extend it to be larger if you have the cash in hand. You're just going to pay cash, pay it off. So that would be my suggestion. I hope that makes sense. And again, feel free to keep going if I didn't get close to what you were asking. So Why Not says, this may sound naive, but is it possible to pay your PMI insurance with a credit card? No, you can't do that. So PMI insurance is established at the beginning of the loan. When we are taking your loan application, we are determining how much money you are putting down, the loan product that you are going to take. So do you want FHA? Do you want conventional? But we are going to determine which loan product that you are going to take. How much money are you putting down on that loan? This is how much that the PMI insurance will be monthly, or this is how much the PMI insurance would cost you to buy it out. So again, conventional FHA, you can't buy out PMI insurance. You have to pay it monthly. It's part of your mortgage payment. But conventional, it's either part of your mortgage payment and it is wrapped into what you make in a monthly payment to the bank every month, or you can buy it out. You can pay it out upfront. You can pay it out upfront, outright, get rid of it. The other option, like I mentioned earlier in the show, is that you could actually take a little bit a higher interest rate in order to have no mortgage insurance. So again, it's still just a way of financing. You're just paying a higher interest on the loan. I don't necessarily usually tell people to go that direction. It doesn't usually make sense when we look at all of the different options and opportunities that are available. But it does, PMI insurance, whether it's FHA or it's conventional, is wrapped up into that total monthly payment. You cannot put it on a credit card. Great question, though. I absolutely love it. Claudia says, thank you so much for your recommendation. You are very, very welcome. I absolutely love it. And looking at the time, it looks like we are almost at the 30-minute mark for Go Country. So this is how I get my sound. I take the show, I send it to Go Country every single week. I love my Go Country listeners that are listening Saturday morning by radio. But this is how I get the sound for the show. So I'm going to wrap it up really quick and then I'm going to keep going with questions. So please don't stop. I will not leave until we have answered every question for today. But for all of you Go Country listeners, thank you so much for listening to Mortgage Mom Radio. I really hope that I can get you guys on either YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, doing it live with me every Wednesday at 1 p.m. In order to know when I do go live, please opt yourself in. Text LIVE, LIVE, to 844-935-3634. That's 844 We Lend for You. WELEND and the number 4. text live. I would absolutely love to see you guys jump on and be part of the show. All of you, my Go Country listeners. And it is that same exact telephone number that you will call if you have questions or want to get an application started, whether it is a purchase, a refinance, a reverse mortgage, or if you are trying to sell your home, we can get you all set up, point you in the right direction for whatever real estate transaction it is that you need to take. Whew. Okay. Go Country is done. We're going to keep on going, guys. So here we go. Next question that came out of the workshop, which I thought was awesome, and I want to read to you and give you answers. And again, invite you all to put your questions into the feed if you have any that you'd like to ask today. So here we go. How long do you have to be in business to be able to use it as an income source? So this question actually came from somebody on the workshop, and it might have actually been Why Not, but I could be wrong. But he was just starting a brand new business. It was he's newly self-employed, just opening up a brand new business. And he wanted to know how long that he needed to be in business before he could use the income to qualify for a new loan. So in that workshop and on today's show, today I'm not focusing on any kind of alternative documentation types of loan programs. Today we are talking FHA, conventional, USDA, jumbo, so all of the main streamlined full income documentation loan types. In those loan types, you do have to be self-employed for a full 2 years, and you do have to provide 2 full years of tax returns, filed tax returns. So I did like that question. There are alternative income documentation type loans that we can absolutely help you with. And if you are self-employed and you are just getting started, you want to give us a call and you want to ask us, and we'll create a game plan for you and find the right loan program for you that is going to get you into the home the quickest. Usually, I typically see about 1 year in business that would be necessary before we could get you into a loan program. 2 years for complete full income documentation, low down payment, lowest interest rates possible types of loan programs. So that was actually a great question. I loved it. And let's do one more, and then we'll go ahead and we'll roll out the day today. So this one was a really good one. I liked it because this has come up quite a few times, and I've had this question before. So it was, who besides a veteran can qualify for a VA loan as a relative? So I did really like that question, and I want to explain that one. So a lot of people, not a lot of people, I get calls quite frequently, and real estate agents also, they've heard this before, so they, tell their clients, call, find out what you can do. So VA loans are for veterans. If you have served in the military, you have earned the right to get a VA loan. If you have not served, you are not a veteran, you do not have eligibility to a VA loan. Now, if you are married to a veteran, you and your spouse can both go on the loan together, both qualify on the loan together, and you can utilize all of that eligibility of a 0 down payment loan program. Now, in certain circumstances, and this is where a lot of people get confused, if you have a spouse that is a veteran and the spouse passes away, that does not give you automatic eligibility to utilize their benefit. And a lot of spouses of deceased vets believe, oh, I can just use their VA eligibility because we were married when they passed. That is actually not the situation. In most circumstances, the spouse will only get the eligibility benefit and can use it if their spouse was deemed disabled and they had to have been on active duty. They had to have been deployed, and that is how they became disabled, and then the spouse would get the eligibility. So if they went to battle, or they were deployed and they were, doing their service, and they were to pass away during that deployment, their spouse would get the eligibility. They could utilize the VA eligibility to purchase a home with 0 down. If that spouse was deemed disabled from that deployment and comes back home, and then later on down the road, throughout all of the years, becomes disabled, they could still utilize that VA benefit from their spouse. So again, it's all about what happened during deployment. That is what determines if there is eligibility there for the spouse to utilize the VA benefit. So I thought that that was something very important to talk about. Now, you will hear people say, well, even if I have a VA loan, I can't get my mom to co-sign or my dad to co-sign or my brother to co-sign. Absolutely. You can absolutely get a cosigner on a VA loan, but that does get rid of the zero down payment requirement. The vet gets zero down on their half of the purchase price, but then the person that is co-signing is required to come up with a down payment on their half of the purchase price. So the zero down payment availability goes away when you add a cosigner who is not a spouse. So I liked that question. I thought it was really important. I wanted to be able to explain exactly how it works. I absolutely love VA loans. They are by far my favorite loan to do. So if you are a vet and you're out there and you haven't bought a home, man, use your eligibility. What are you waiting for? Give us a call, please. So with that, Why Not did say it was. So it was him. I thought so that he had asked the question. But again, I'm so happy that we made it on Instagram today. We finally did it. I've been trying to make this happen for like 3 years. So we made it to Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. If you guys liked the show today and you want to know what we're going to talk about next week and you want to get that text message with the link to join, make sure that you text the word LIVE, LIVE, to 844-935-3634. That's 844 We Lend for You, WELEND, and the number 4. That will get you one text message a week with the link to join and what the subject matter of the day is all about. I do hope that I see you guys all again here next week on Wednesday at 1 o'clock. I hope you guys all have a fabulous rest of your week, and I'll talk to you guys all real soon. Bye-bye.
Debbie Marcoux is licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act, NMLS ID 237926. Also licensed in Arizona 0941504, Florida L076508, Georgia 69178, Idaho MLO 208023796, Illinois 031.0058339, Missouri, North Carolina I210940, Nevada 57237, Oregon, Tennessee 184373, Texas, Washington MLO 237926.
She's the mortgage mom. She can get things done